This is Chris Steinbach. I'm the Deputy Director at MCSA, and I'm here this morning with Wayne Shoultz, who's a member of the MCSA Board of Directors. Wayne, welcome, and thank you for joining us on our program today. We're glad to have you.
Well, thank you for asking. Always been excited about the work MCSA done, and anything I can do to help in that area, I'm always very happy to do that. So,
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. You have been a member of the board for how long?
I believe it's either 5 or 6 years. I'm not sure exactly. I have to look it up. But yeah, I served 4 years on the Muncie County Board of Supervisors and decided not to run for re-election, but I always was interested in being able to serve the community in any way that I can. And I'm also retired, so I have the time and the opportunity to do that, and was asked by Mike Johansson if I was interested in serving on the board, and once I learned what MCSA was all about, and I jumped at the opportunity.
And so you've been a member of the board for that length of time. What are some of the things on the board you've done? I know you're on the building committee. Maybe you could talk a little bit about what being a board member has meant to you.
Well, first of all, what's meant to me is MCSA is about providing sort of short-term assistance, someone that needs a helping hand. And it's not really a long-term thing, but someone that needs a place to sleep, or someone that needs housing, someone needs a helping hand, and that's what interests me being on the board. So then that's still today what excites me is that we are there for someone that needs a helping hand. We can lift them up, and so they can get self-started and start their life. Being on the board has meant that juggling what our needs are with what our finances are is always a challenge. We're always out soliciting for money and asking for money, and we always got a lot of ideas on how we can serve the community better, but sometimes we're limited on what we can do because of finances. Another thing is that we have a very, very nice facility here with the old Y building, what I call the old Y building, and being on the building committee gives me the opportunity. Are we meeting the needs that MCSA requires with this facility? Should we be looking at something else? What can we do to upgrade it and still maintain a financial responsibility of spending our donors' money wisely?
There have been a number of improvements to the building in the time period roughly where you've been on the board, I think. The elevator, was that a part of the building when you came on the board?
Well, actually, that was put on before I got on the board, but now that I see the elevator here, it was a definite need, because we have a lot of people that are challenged with steps, and we met that challenge, and now they can get up on the top level by using the elevator, whether they're in a wheelchair or have some limited capacity.
Along with that, I know since you've been on the board, we've put in the handicap accessible door and a number of things like that.
Yeah, one of the things that we've done is did some changing around with the administrative area. Again, meeting our needs. We put in a handicap accessible door off of the 4th Street entrance. It is also a tight security system where you have to have a card key to get in. That was another change that we made. We also are looking at security. Security really is a top of importance to us, and we have a fairly old camera system that monitors the entranceways and monitors inside the facilities. So we're presently looking at how can we upgrade that. Again, making sure that people that trust us and wants to use this facility are safe and secure.
Yeah, I think those are important things, and you're maybe not completely aware of this, but in my role, Maggie and I's job is one of that we give a lot of tours and those kinds of things. And the number one comment everybody always has to say about MCSA when they come here for a tour is how clean and nice the building is, and then I think they're also surprised by the number of programs and things that go on here that they often don't know about.
Well, the way the building is being maintained from a cleaning standpoint has always impressed me, and we can thank Tom Curry and the rest of the staff for that. Tom is right on top of that. It's always a very neat, well taken care of facility. I also am encouraged about that some of our people that our customers, more or less, also we use them, help maintain a good facility where we give them responsibilities for cleaning and so on. They learn responsibility, and it helps us as well to maintain that facility. So, yeah, it's very impressive. It impressed me from the very beginning, and it's even gotten better the years I've been here. So,
I didn't tell you I was going to ask about this, but I'm sort of thinking about it as we sit here. As a board member, you're someone whose actions, I think, really say a lot in the fact that you do a lot of volunteer work here as well, or at least you have in the past, giving residents rides to doctor's appointments and some of those kinds of things. Care to talk a little bit about that? What do you think you get out of that then you take to board meetings with you?
well, I've always felt the way you measure the success of a community is how well you provide assistance for those that don't have a voice. And that's what my life has been kind of about. I've always belonged to a lot of organizations that provided services and helping others, whether it's through the church or through MCSA or through the Lions Club or whatever it might be. That's kind of what I'd like to do. I mean, I always feel very strongly about. And there's a need out there. People need rides to doctor's appointments in the Quad Cities and Iowa City and here locally. And I have a vehicle, and I got the time, and fortunate enough to be able to afford the gas, and so why not, you know? And what really happens the most is what I gain from it is building relationships. And oftentimes we provide a service, but we forget the important part about building the relationship with the individuals we're just serving. Well, you spend an hour or 2 hours a day in a car with an individual, taking them to the doctor's appointment over the years, and you definitely build a relationship, a very tight relationship. I'll tell you a quick story. I took an individual to the emergency room. We didn't intend to go to the emergency room, but that's where we ended up. And he was being asked a lot of questions about where he was from and so on, and they asked him, well, who brought you here? Is this individual, referring to me, your driver? He says, no, he's my friend. And that really meant a lot to me. So,
in the time that you've been on the board, is there any one thing specifically that you've learned about MCSA that if you could get everybody who might be listening to this today to realize and understand, what would you want them to know about MCSA if you had the chance? Well, you've got the chance right now to tell them.
I guess what impresses me most is the community support. The community of Muscatine recognizes there's a need, and they recognize the fact that MCSA is able to fill some basic needs for individuals, and they support us. They support us financially. They support us by coming in and helping paint the facility or whatever it might be with their time. So it's MCSA, but what impresses me most is about the community of Muscatine and the fact they do recognize there are people that need a helping hand, and they're there for them, whether it's churches, individuals, social groups, or whatever it might be.
That sounds like a great place to end the interview. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Well, I just thank you, Chris, for the opportunity, and thank you for the work you do, and thank you, the staff of MCSA, for being there for people.
Well, we're glad to have you here today. That's been Wayne Shoultz, who's a member of the MCSA Board of Directors, and I'm Chris Steinbach. We'll send this back to the studio.